What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. And today we're going to be breaking down the best mid laners for beginners. So this is basically for 0 MMR to probably 1k MMR and sometimes 2k. Some of these heroes can actually work across all MMRs, depends on how good you are at these heroes. So the first one we're going to be breaking down is going to be Zeus. Zeus is a very good hero, especially for newer players, because his kit is very basic. You have the escape tool with heavenly jump. You can actually clear vision with your lightning bolt, which is very nice, especially in lower MMR where people have no clue where vision is. This is just a low commitment spell. It doesn't really cost a whole ton of mana, especially if you go mana boots. And you can play this hero in support. You can play this hero from the mid lane as well. And it's just a lot of fun because as long as you're alive, you're going to have a lot of impact because your ultimate is global and you're always going to be spamming your spells. You're almost always going to have the most damage on the entire lobby. So it's definitely a very nice option, and it's extra damage, and it forces the enemy team to buy a pipe, and they will also do everything in their power to try and get rid of you because it's just so much damage. And if you go items like E-Blade, you get Ether Lens to stay far away. You can do so much damage, and you control people with Nimbus. It's a very nice ability with your Aghanim Scepter. There's a lot of things you can do on Zeus. Very nice hero for beginner players to pick up and definitely get a lot of value from it straight out of the gate. The next hero we're going to be taking a look at is Dragon Knight. Now, this is a hero that players that do know how to play Dragon Knight say it's a little bit boring, but this hero is just so reliable from the mid lane. His win rate isn't the greatest, but in low MMR, pretty much anything can work. And he's just an overall pretty sustainable laner. He's super tanky. He has a lot of regen with Dragon's Blood. He has an innate stun, which is one of the best in the game. It's just a point click, which takes no skill to absolutely use it. And then you have your Fire Breath, which not only helps you farm, it also reduces the damage incoming, which is also very good. And in the late game, this ability is very heavily underrated. If they have nothing to dispel it, like a BKB or a Manta or Lotus or any of these items that dispel, you are going to be doing a lot of work with this ability because they're just going to be doing 30% less damage, and it's very nice. And you also have Fireball, which is a great ability for you to farm and to be able to take ancient stacks. So definitely don't fear playing the Dragon Knight. You can also play it with a Meteor Hammer, with Blink Dagger, Falcon Blade, and then eventually get an Aghanim Scepter. Another perk of this hero is that he pushes insanely fast. So this hero is not only very tanky and can pretty much replace your offlaner. If you guys are playing with an offlaner that's definitely very squishy, maybe like a Clanks or offlane Weaver or any of these heroes that people might want to pick that are just squishy and they're not natural offlaners, you can go for the DK. He's going to be a very reliable option. He's also very strong against heroes like Puck. It's always going to be a nightmare for the Puck because there's nothing he can do to a Dragon Knight, and it's going to force the Puck to make really bad rotations, and you're going to be able to counter him every single time with your stun. So keep that in mind. If you guys are having trouble and you see a Puck, you can always pick the Dragon Knight and know you're going to have a really good lane. It's just a very nice hero to pick. His kit isn't the most fun in terms of high ability usage and outplays. You can definitely outplay, but not as hard as other heroes like Invoker and such. But those heroes are just difficult and they're not good for beginners, as you will lose the majority of your games until you actually learn how to play the hero. They're just really hard heroes to get value from. The next hero we're going to be taking a look at is going to be Riki. Riki is just such a solid hero, especially in low MMR. You guys have no clue how strong this hero is, or maybe you do. If you do, you know how much power this hero can bring. He's not only an assassin, but he has invisibility. And what is one of the worst things that are in low MMR bracket games? It's vision. Nobody ever buys a gem. Vision is practically non-existent. This hero reigns rampant in low MMR lobbies, and he actually does a lot of damage. Even in 2 to 3k bracket, Riki's mid still does good. Thompson was actually playing it for a while. This hero is strong. He's not as strong as he was when he had the dart. That was definitely just absolutely broken, and people were actually first picking Riki, which is absolutely insane. But you can still get a ton of value from this hero and overall have a really strong laning phase. And the whole point of picking this hero is to be able to fight off cooldown. All you need is some sustain, so get yourself a wand or any raindrops if you're going to get some value from those. You can always pick that up, go for your treads, your diffusal, and then pretty much buy whatever you really want. You can go for items like Daedalus. You can also get a BKB and a Manta. There's a lot of things you can do on Riki, and it's just a very nice hero because this hero does not farm. This hero farms heroes. This hero does not hit creeps. It's probably one of the worst creep hitters in the game because the whole point of playing this hero is to be able to backstab and blink onto people, silence them with your Q, which is a very underrated ability on Riki. This ability absolutely destroys a lot of heroes like Anti-Mage and a lot of heroes like Puck, these heroes that want to be able to get away. And this is an AoE silence, so definitely very strong and very underrated ability on Ricky. Definitely a very strong hero for low MMR and for players who definitely want to be able to get a lot of kills and who don't really like farming. There's a lot of players who their playstyle is just to fight off cooldown. Ricky is the hero for you because he definitely does not farm. Another hero we're going to be taking a look at is Sniper. Now, Sniper is the bane of a lot of players' existence. This hero just does a lot of work, and one of the things I will say about Sniper is he teaches you positioning, because Sniper is the hero where if your positioning is good, you're always going to get a ton of damage. But if your positioning is garbage, you are going to be feeding off cooldown, because Sniper is such a squishy hero, and when heroes get on top of him, he tends to die pretty much 99% of the time. So that's one of the reasons why I think Sniper is just such a good pick, because not only is positioning hard to learn overall in any MMR bracket, it's also very nice to have a hero that can pretty much blast you from long range, from the trees, as long as there's a ward. This hero is definitely hated by a lot of people, but this is just a very easy hero to play. You have Shrapnel for the slows in the lane, especially against a melee hero. They're just going to take so much damage. And then if you max your headshot and you max your range ability, you're going to be hitting them from a mile away, and it's going to be very difficult for the enemy melee hero to actually deal with you. And you have the most range in the entire game, so even range heroes won't be able to touch you. And he does pretty well in lane most of the time, so it's definitely a very solid pick for you guys to pick up this hero. The next hero we're going to be taking a look at is actually an unconventional type of mid, but some pros have actually been playing it, and I definitely enjoy it as well. Ogre Magi is one of the better mid laners for you guys to be picking up, especially in low MMR. I keep mentioning that just because low MMR players tend to not really care so much about draft, but Ogre Magi is just so strong. He's so tanky, he's very hard to push out a lane, and the more strength you build, the more mana regen you have and the more efficient mana you actually have, which is very, very strong. That you have a hero that's level 5 with 1000 HP, which is absolutely insane. And then you have the fact that you actually get the buff up your cores and you get to buff up yourself as well. That's always going to be a very nice benefit to Ogre Magi. If you have a hero like Drow, or you have a hero like Wraith King, Slark, these heroes that benefit from attack speed, you're gonna do very, very nice with, and you're gonna stun people into oblivion. You can go for E-Blade, you can go for Dagon, you can go for Hex, and you can multicast these abilities. These abilities are absolutely insane into multicast. You can literally be stun locked forever in the late game, so don't sleep on Ogre Magi. A lot of players typically don't like to pick this hero because they think this hero doesn't scale. Believe me, this hero absolutely scales. I've seen a lot of crazy builds with this hero. When you take the 25 talent that you basically right click and you're able to cast Fire Blast, I've seen people going Moonshard on this hero and being able to absolutely destroy people. There's a lot of fun builds you can go, and it's always just going to be a very reliable mid lane hero because you have the ability to get a Midas and multicast the Midas. That is one of the most important reasons why core Ogre Magi is always going to be very, very strong. And it's not a very difficult hero to get value from because, again, you have the stun, you have Bloodlust, and you're able to multicast. So you're always able to stay pretty much in the top 3 of farm without actually hitting a single creep just off your Midas. And if you end up getting an item like Aghanim Scepter, you're going to be stunning even more. And you can also get items like Octarine, which are always going to be very, very nice for you to be able to cast Midas even more. It's just a very nice hero, very underrated. Gunner from Nouns has actually been playing Ogre Magi professionally, which is very nice to see a hero like this being picked up professionally in the mid lane. Very, very nice. Definitely keep Ogre Magi in mind. It's a very strong pick. And for the last hero for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Necrophos. Necrophos is one of these heroes where if you understand how to build him, he does not die. It's very difficult to kill Necrophos. You're gonna have to commit so much resources into killing that hero, and at the end of the day, he's doing passive damage all the time, and it's a tanky hero meta, so Necro does very well against all these strength heroes, and it's very difficult for them to burst Necro. They have to build a lot of magic damage because Necro is a natural Lotus Orb buyer, and he tends to buy Boots of Travels. You can even buy Blade Mail on the hero. Necro is a very solid pick, and a lot of pro players were picking it mid. It's definitely very, very strong in this current meta, and it's a very easy hero to play. Just definitely play around your cooldowns and just use your Reaper Scythe off cooldown. Do not be fearful of using this ability for it to be on cooldown. Get your stacks up, do as much work as you can, and you're always going to have those stacks. And eventually in the late game, you're going to have so much regen. Once you get yourself a heart and a BKB and these types of items, with the amount of regen you have, it's going to be so difficult for the enemy team to actually do anything to you. And there gets to a point where even Vessel doesn't do anything. Shiva's stopped doing that much to you. There is a timing for Necro. hero in the ultra late game where he becomes absolutely unstoppable. So definitely keep that hero in mind. It's very, very strong, very easy to use, and a very high impact hero, and always does a lot of damage in the team fights with his passive. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two on this video. A like would be much appreciated. Let me know what is your favorite mid lane hero. If you guys are newer players, I would like to know what MMR you guys are and what are you guys spam picking. What is working for you in Herald, Guardian, Crusader, whatever MMR bracket you are. What is your mid lane pick right now that you're just absolutely in love with and you're having a lot of fun and you're gaining a lot of MMR with? I would definitely like to know. That is the question for today's video. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.